Alright, welcome back. This is part 3 of the Xenon production suite, and we're doing atmospheres and pads with Dirty Hippie. And this class we're going to be learning some post-production methods. We're using a source material, some Foley field recordings, and some sound effects that we'll create from scratch. And this is a great way to create atmospheres, and you'll see that we can pretty much take anything and turn it into something really awesome that we can use in our music. Okay, so before the class begins, I'm going to give you a little preview of what we're going to be making in this class. So after everything, these are the sounds that we'll be conjuring. So let's go one by one. You can hear that kind of quite dark, horror, urban, dark sci-fi kind of sounds, very appropriate for Xenon. And there's a lot of detail to the sound. If you're wearing headphones or listening through studio monitors, you can hear like low rumbling and harmonic oscillations and all kinds of things. So let's have a listen to this next one. Beautiful. So just going to run through them. Okay. And this one. And last but not least, this guy. Ooh. So I could really go on forever making these kind of sounds. I really hope you enjoy making them. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is create a kind of patch in one of the synthesizers within Ableton. And we're going to create some crazy sounds. And then we're going to cut that up and turn them into some atmosphere sounds. So this is something I really enjoy to do. First thing we're going to need to do is open an operator, which is here. I have one already. It sounds like that. Okay. I'll just turn it up. Okay, so what I want to do is come to audio effects and get a frequency shifter. This frequency shifter, if I turn the amount up, you can just hear what it does. That's the shifting, the pitch shifting mode. And then we have the ring modulation mode. Okay, so we have the frequency shifter. Fantastic. So the cool thing with this is that we're using a sine wave shape. So our pitch is going like at a wave, like really smoothly up and down. And I have all these shapes that I can choose. The one I want to choose is this one. It's the random. It's just randomly stepping through the frequencies. But what I want to do is I want the rate to be fixed to the grid. So if I choose this musical note, that means it's going to sync up. If I go 1/4, why is it really 1/4? That kind of sounds like 16ths. Kind of sounds like R2D2. So what I want to do is just funk this up in any way I can. So I'm going to turn this up, and we're in FM mode, as you can see by the vertical cubes, which I told you about in part 2. Basically what I want to do is create as much harmonic richness as I can. So I'm basically going to try and screw this sound up. Some resonance. Try and get it sounding as weird as possible. So I can be, and you can be as experimental as you like with this. For example, here is a corpus. Sounds pretty mad. You even do the same thing with this, so we can use one of them. Oh wow, sounds really crazy. I'm going to turn the dry wet down. Okay, that sounds really mad. Okay, so I'm quite literally just mucking around with it. I'm going to put something else, maybe a dynamic tube. So this is kind of like a distortion, so I'm going to turn the drive up. So I just turn the frequency down. What I might do is actually get a bit of frequency mod. So if I turn that all the way down, then envelope up. Okay, this is actually sounding pretty weird. But it's good. I want to create as much randomness as possible. So, and you'll see in the end when I start doing the post-production why that is. So I could get a flanger. Okay, that sounds good. Now let's get a phaser. And you see this LFO shape. Let's do the same here. So we've got the step and hold thing. Okay, now they're sounding really nice and horrible and weird. I kind of lost some. I lost some middle and highs, and one thing I like to do when I'm smashing sounds like this is to use an OTT and bring the amount down to my desired amount. So that's brought back some highs, and then I'm going to get the glue compressor and crush it to smithereens by bringing the threshold all the way down and then the makeup up. Oh. That sounds great. What I might do is actually save this, because this could be a great source material generator for what I'm about to show you. So what I'm going to do is click any of them and then Command or Control A, depending on whether you're on Mac or PC. And then the same with G. And then I'm going to hit the little bottom left here and call it source material generator. Source material generator impact atmos, that'll do. So we have that. We can just put that in whenever we like. That's great. So now I'm going to open an audio track and resample this. So we've got it in audio. So I'm going to loop both, hit record, and just hit. Okay, fantastic. So now I have all this stuff. So I'm going to get rid of this one here. Unarm those. And now I'm going to have a little listen. So let's get this little bit here. The idea is that you want to just go through this and just pick nice little moments. So I've got this little moment here, for example. I'm just gonna drag it over here. It's by itself. I'm gonna have a little listen. Fantastic. So now what I want to do is come to max for live and then get a convolution reverb. I want to go to large rooms and pick something here, like, for example, the piano hall. Get another reverb as well. Get the decay really high. What I want to do is bring that level up. So what I'm doing now is just listening at different speeds, pitches. So I double click and I can change the pitch here. But I like these really low ones. Like really subtle, atmospheric, kind of urban. Oh, that's amazing. I really like that. So I'm basically making my own impact, and then what I can do, I'm going to duplicate it. And then I can go freeze. And if you're wondering all these shortcuts that I'm using, you can actually go to my website, Dirty Hippie Studio, that's hippie with a y.com, and go to the blog section, and there's one that has all the keyboard shortcuts for Ableton Live 10, and you can just print it out and just use it and study it, and you'll find those shortcuts really helpful. So I'm going to flatten that now, and now this is audio. So let's deactivate that one, and what I can do is actually reverse that and get a kind of reversed atmospheric kind of sound. Get another reverb on it. That's a wonderful atmospheric sound. So let's have another listen to that. This time I want to get the OTT on it. Bring the amount down. We can get some. Bring in some different frequencies. It's nice. Imagine I reverse it. Now it's an impact as well. Which, if we want to, we can transpose again. That's a fantastic sound. Very atmospheric. I like that. So imagine this one. Let's try to get another one. Go back to our source material. Like that there, for example. I'm going to drag that down. What I can do is turn it right up. And then I'm going to bring this to where it's the most high. And then so kind of like an impact. Let's get a reverb. That just sounds super horrific, like metallic, scratchy kind of horror sounds. It sounds super crazy. So you can see, imagine just turn it down and see how it sounds other side of the spectrum, really low. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Let's go a bit more up. Yeah, I personally really like that. So here's... Yeah, these are like happy accents. I can reverse that. Imagine that would be a... So look, so far I've got all these cool sounds that I've made with this source material. So you see how the idea of this is that you're using experimental sound design, coming up with something truly broken and crushed and ultra harmonic and ultra weird. And the more experimental you are, the more loose you are and less regimented, the more happy accidents you're going to make without realizing. And then what you can do is take little chunks of that, stretch it, and then again experiment. Because obviously, if you're experimenting in the first place, you never know what you're going to make. But what you can make really is just incredible. Like, and you could never make it on purpose. But then once you've made it, you can then make it on purpose afterwards, because you know what you did, and you can copy your design, reverse engineer your own experiments. That's the cool thing, because you can save everything as instrument racks. And it's the coolest. Okay, so far we've made all these lovely sounds. Let's try to go back into the source material and see if there's one other thing we can perhaps do. See, for example, that I really like the textures of it, so I'm going to pick that out specifically. And then maybe what I can do is do what I did before and just get this where it says the BPM of the sound, and you can just stretch that. And if that isn't available to you and it's grayed out, you can just unwarp it and then warp it again. It might give you a message saying if you want to keep its original timing, you can just say yes or no, and then you'll be able to do this and stretch it real far out. So let's have a listen to that. Let's go back actually, because I'm gonna go back to that. Yeah, cool. So what we're gonna do actually is consolidate it first, and that way it's only what I can see is the sound. So first, I like to experiment with pitch, you know, see if it sounds cool up. Like that sounds cool. Imagine that with a double reverb. So I like to have a, you know, a convolution reverb for some experimental texture, and then you can use the other reverb for a really long sound. So I could go, you know, whatever. Oh no, not that. These are like chords. Sounds pretty crazy. Let's go somewhat less experimental. Let's go large rooms or real places. I actually quite like this one. Hamilton Mausoleum, whatever you call it. It's nice. That's a nice sound. Maybe come in here. That's a nice sound. I like it. One thing to mention is with the reverb, if you have the size forwards, like big size, you can clearly hear it ringing smoothly. If I bring the size down, the oscillation gets faster, and you get this almost like bell effect, as if you're in a small pipe, and you can hear a kind of wobble. We can listen to that. You can kind of hear this harmonic feedback, like an oscillation, like. It's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is duplicate that. I'm going to do a couple things with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is freeze and flatten this guy. And then give it a good old reverse. And have a listen to that. But what we can try and do is maybe get some transposition modulation. Like this. Yeah, make it sound really crazy. Let's go from here. Let's get another reverb on it. Nice haunting atmospheric sound. Let's go back to this guy again. I just want to hear what that sounds like low as well. Imagine it's really, really low. Oh, gorgeous. Very smooth and haunting. I like that. So let's go back to this little clip we have here. And then maybe what we can do with this one is do the time stretch real fast. So as you can see, this is grayed out. So I can turn warp off, turn it back on. And okay, so now the warp's on. And what I'm going to do is just go, ooh, real loud. So that's really time stretched, like to the point where it's turned that small clip into a quite big one. Let's have a listen. Let's listen without reverb, this one. Wow. I personally like that. Sounds more All crazy. Oh yes. Absolutely gorgeous, I'd say. So imagine we patch all these together and we can kind of get almost a demo of all these sounds that you can make. What's this one? Yes, let's just make a thing of it. Make a thing of it. Put them all together. Hear how that sounds. Put this one over here. Yes, let's listen to them all. Turn this one off. Gorgeous. So something I'd absolutely have to do now would be to what I do is freeze and flatten all of these, and the reason I want to do that is I can see the tail. That's what I want to see, is the tail. All of these. Freeze, flatten all of them, and I'll tell you why it's important. I want to see the tail. Fantastic. So that's them all frozen. I'm just gonna, for some reason it does this. You just got to do that. It's real easy. Okay, so now what I can do, I can solo these. And if I just click one, so you can see by its white color, see that? Now that it's white, I can actually just Command Shift R, and that comes up with export. So I can just export, go OK. And what I want to do is find my folder of impacts and swooshes. So this is where I save all my atmospheric sounds. So I'm going to call this Xenon Atmos Urban Dark. Yes. So that's the first one. And you can do this quite quickly. I'm just going to solo with that. Go boom. You know, I'm just using all my shortcuts so I can make the number 2. Come to here. And this is why I make that tail, so I know that I'm not chopping out any of that reverb and that it's actually doing the whole sound. That's what we want, the whole sound there. All right. So we've got 5 really cool sounds. And as again, I can put them back into Ableton. Now I've done that. If I come to here where it says impacts and swooshes, I've got them right here. You know. Okay, so that's it for this part. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really enjoy making these kind of sounds because it's real hands-on sound design, making it all from scratch, and it's very experimental. It's not regimented, and the results are brilliant and also infinite. I mean, the amount of variation is ridiculous. You just got to get loose and experiment. The idea is to not feel regimented. So when you're making that first source patch for the source material, you want to just have fun and enjoy making sounds and try and go beyond your habits, you know. So don't just always do the same things. Try and deliberately do something a little different, and I assure you, you'll have a lot of fun, and the rewards will be fantastic. And I can't recommend enough to start saving your sounds and start developing sample libraries of your own sounds. So I hope you enjoyed it, and take care of yourselves.